What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Uncle Frank, Team Beer Guts, here at day 5. Tour de Beer of the Tour de France. Having a different beer every day of the Tour de France. With a quick race recap and then talking about a beer that hopefully ties into the stage somehow. So, thanks for joining and checking out the channel. I'm glad you guys are here. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you know when we're going to post a new video. When I say we, I mean me and my multiple personalities. Anyway, today's stage, day 5, Le Tour de France, time trial. You say you like the Tour de France? Do you watch the time trial? Because then maybe you're just looking for results, and maybe you're not that much of a fan. Usually it's pretty standard. Single guys just going along, single file, not single guys, they might be married, whatever. Until there's a crash, and if you're waiting for crashes, well, then you should probably be watching NASCAR. And there's going to be a shuffle in the GC. There's no change in the King of the Mountains. There's no change really in the green jersey. It's a standard race. So today was pretty standard. And there was a shuffle in the GC, depending on who finished, when, and where. I will say, and I made this before with a BMX reference, so when I was racing BMX, there were a couple of guys that never rode their cruiser bikes. You would race 20-inch, which is your standard BMX bike. Cruiser was like this offshoot. They would never practice. Greg Hill, Terry Tennant, they didn't practice. But then they'd get on the bike during the main, or to qualify for the main, and destroy everybody. Tadej Pogačar just did that today. Supposedly he doesn't practice on his time trial bike. Let me tell you how he smoked everybody. Like Snoop Dogg at a party. That's what he did. Yes. Not enough to put him in yellow, though. So, if you want to find out, make sure you check out highlights on all the other places that talk about the races. I'm not going to go to all those details because we got some beer to talk about. It was a very classic time trial, so I decided to go with a very classic beer. What did I go with today? This is Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, a classic American IPA. Not a New England IPA, even though New England is in America, but we're talking American IPA. This should have some hop punch you in the face. A little bit bigger, a little bit more bitter. So this is a 7% ale made with 100% Centennial hops. I mean, it doesn't get any more old school and more classic than that, right? So what do we got here? Let's check it out. I remember having an argument one time with a guy, rooftop deck, after the Great International Beer Fest, where he was telling me how great Bell's beer was. And while I agreed, I felt like I had to push the envelope. I wanted him to tell me why he thought it was so great, and I just kept challenging him and just saying, it's not that great, it's not that great, tell me more, tell me more. I think he cried. Maybe, sorry. It's not that I believe in the beer. I just wanted people to tell me why it's great, not it's great because it is great. Now I'm just going to tell you this beer is great because it's great. Bell's always made good beers, solid, just never a dud. They tell you what it's going to be, and it is. It's not some crazy offshoot, never infected, and whenever I finally get it, it's not old. This beer is fresh, which is super, super nice. And they actually put that on the can of when you should drink it. Shelf life 6 months. So if it's more than 6 months old, get rid of it. Unlike the New England IPAs that, I don't know, might be 6 days, depending on what it is. I jest. But 6 weeks, there's a lot of New England IPAs that just aren't going to last that long. This is a tried and true solid product that it can get shipped. And this is why it can distribute to lots of other places. Get it to the masses, and they fall in love with IPA. So, as you can see, we got a great color here, and again, classic, sort of on purpose, but not really. It just depends on what glasses I have. Cottrell Brewing, the old Yankee Ale, out of Connecticut. So this beer is out of Michigan, by the way. Connecticut glass, because I'm a New England guy. And this is what I had. And here's another classic beer. If I could get some fresh Cottrell, I will review that within the rest of the Tour de France. We got another 2 weeks to go. Anyway, so I'm getting off track. Beer. Smells like Centennial. Old school American hops. Piney. So this is when you're looking for the tropical fruits and the things that you're getting in the more modern IPAs and some of the softer IPAs. Not here. Centennial. In fact, we used to say about the sea hops. Centennial, Chinook, Cascade were piney, resiny, that inside grapefruit orange type things. That's what you're looking for. And 100% Centennial is going to have that with a little bit of wood, in my opinion, too. I mean, it's pine, but you get the wood and you get that citrusiness that comes from pine as well. Wow, man, I haven't had this beer in so long. This is so good. There's a malt backbone going on here, too. And if you're thinking, well, I don't want malt, I want IPA. No. This is traditional American IPA. You need to drink this beer so you understand what it's supposed to be. Where it was, where it is now, where it's going, where it came from. This is beer history in a glass right here. As a Cicerone, as a professional brewer, as a longtime beer guy, I love going back to stuff like this and enjoying it. And then I really know what I like about the new flavors and not. What I love about the old flavors and not. So, again, there's some malt backbone going on here. And it's malty but not sweet. Not sweet malt. Please do not confuse the two of those. Malt here is not the crystal malt, but definitely some malt. It's got some body, maybe Munich or Vienna. I'm not really sure. Just enough to add something else to it in order to balance it. And when I say balance, it doesn't mean that it's here. Your hops are still up here, but it's got to have some balance, because if you had nothing, you have nothing but hops, and that's going to rip the tongue out of your throat, and you don't want that either. So you're always kind of here. Maybe this is pale ale. If you go and malt a little bit higher, you're talking more of your box or something like that we'll talk about later on. But you come into this even spot, and now you bring it up here. Now you're like, oh, that's pale ale. Oh, that's IPA. Little bit difference here. And so there's malt to keep it in check. And the hops are there. And this allows the hops to pop and play. Loving the aroma on this beer. This is so nice. It is a little bit more aggressive, though. Not going to lie about that. So, food-wise, what would I pair a Two-Hearted Ale with? It's got this fish on the can. I'm not going to pair it with fish. Although, now that I say that, maybe if you had some salmon. Let's take some salmon. You put it on the smoker. Not your regular in the pan with some lemon and white wine or anything. No. We're talking smoked salmon with maple syrup and some sea salt. Yeah, that would go amazing with this beer right here. Aggressive flavors will cut through, so you're looking to either cut, contrast, or complement the flavors of whatever dish you're going to have. This will cut through the fattiness of the fish, because salmon has some fattiness to it, but I feel like the aggressive flavors and earthiness and citrus will also complement what you'd be having in your fish dish right there. So there's your Cicerone moment. That's what you want to pair this beer with. If you don't have to pair it with anything, you could pair it with another beer. This beer is wonderful. I really enjoy it. I hope you find it in your area. If not, seek out some American Pale Ales. Expand your palate. Find out what else is out there. So, Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. It's their American IPA. Really, really enjoy it. Great stage today of the Tour de France as well. And continue to join us. A different beer every day of the Tour de France. Tomorrow, I believe, is a time, not a time trial, but a sprint. We'll wait and see what happens. Until then, thanks for joining us. Cheers.